This is a story about a world where everything seems perfect on the surface, but beneath that veneer lies a society devoid of freedom, individuality, and true happiness. Brave New World by Aldous Huxley explores the dangers of a
Biological
society built
point of
on
view,
control,
the whole essence
conformity,
of
and
the
consumerism. At its core, Brave New World is a warning. Huxley envisions a future where technological advancements and social engineering have created a world of apparent stability, where people's desires and thoughts are managed and happiness is guaranteed. But is this true happiness or just an illusion? Huxley challenges us to question the cost of a world where everyone is content, but no one is free. The novel begins in a world where human beings are no longer born, but manufactured in a laboratory. In this society, personal choice is stripped away, and each individual is conditioned from birth to fulfill a predetermined role. Huxley's chilling portrayal of a controlled, superficial utopia forces us to confront the deeper question. What price are we willing to pay for stability and comfort? What aspects of society today do you think might lead us down this path? Let us know in the comments. The World of Brave New World. In Huxley's dystopian society, the world state controls every aspect of life.
I think when the technological and applied scientific means are developed, they just tend to be used. I think one can say
Human beings are created through a process known as Bokanovsky's process, a form of mass production that creates multiple identical individuals. Every person is assigned to one of five castes, ranging from the highly intelligent Alpha Plus to the menial Epsilon, and their lives are predetermined based on this caste. This system ensures that everyone is happy in their place. People are conditioned to accept their roles and never question the system. Everyone belongs to everyone else. The society's motto encapsulates the idea that individuality is irrelevant in this world. But is this really a utopia? While the citizens are conditioned to be happy, the absence of real emotions, creativity, and personal freedom makes the world seem more like a prison than a paradise. The power of conditioning.
I think that this is perhaps one of the major problems of our time. Technology was made for man, and not man for technology. But unfortunately, the development of recent social and scientific history has created a world in which man seems to be made for technology rather than the other way round.
One of the central themes in Brave New World is the power of conditioning. In this society, the government uses psychological techniques to ensure that people never question their roles or the status quo. From a young age, children are subjected to conditioning to control their desires and perceptions. Through a process known as hypnopedia, learning through sleep teaching, they absorb values that dictate their behavior. For example, children are taught that being part of the lowest caste is perfectly fine, and that happiness comes from consuming and conforming. The world is stable now, the director of hatcheries and conditioning states, emphasizing that societal stability comes from removing any possibility of dissatisfaction or unrest. This psychological manipulation eliminates the need for rebellion or resistance. People simply don't desire anything else. Huxley warns that in a world of perfect control, the individual is not just oppressed. They are made to believe they are happy. The role of Soma. To maintain this happiness and keep any uncomfortable emotions at bay, the people in Brave New World are given Soma, a drug that induces a sense of euphoria without side effects. Soma is used to numb any pain, fear, or dissatisfaction, allowing people to experience a false sense of well-being. The use of Soma represents society's reliance on external substances to create artificial happiness. There's always Soma, of course, as a character says, implying that any problem can be solved by simply escaping reality. This dependency on Soma reflects a dangerous trend in our world today, the growing desire to escape discomfort rather than face and work through it. Huxley's message is clear. When we rely on external sources for happiness, we lose our ability to truly experience life and its complexities, the cost of stability. While the world state offers stability and comfort, it does so at the cost of freedom. People's lives are controlled from birth to death, and individuality is seen as a threat to the social order. In this world, freedom of thought, creativity, and even love are seen as dangerous. Community, identity, stability, the world state motto, shows that stability is valued above all else, even if it means sacrificing the essence of what it means to be human. Through characters like Bernard Marx, a member of the Alpha caste who feels out of place, Huxley explores the tension between individuality and conformity. Bernard feels alienated from the conformist society around him, but his discomfort is seen as a defect in the system. The novel questions, is a society truly perfect if it demands conformity at the expense of the self? In a world where everyone is designed to be happy, there is no room for personal growth or true fulfillment. The role of John, the savage. The introduction of John, a savage raised outside of the world state, offers a stark contrast to the society's values. John was born naturally, outside the world state system, and was raised on a reserve where traditional values still exist. When John is brought into the world state, his shock and horror at the shallow, emotionless society serve as a critique of the dystopian world. He is horrified by the lack of genuine relationships, the superficiality of pleasure, and the mindless consumption of soma. But I don't want comfort, John says. I want God. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want freedom. I want goodness. I want sin. Through John, Huxley shows the value of suffering, struggle, and the complexity of the human experience. In a world that has eliminated pain, it's easy to forget the value of joy, love, and growth that can only emerge through adversity. John's tragic fate highlights the cost of living in a world of perfect control. Huxley suggests that a society that eliminates all pain also eliminates the depth and meaning that comes from truly living. The illusion of happiness.
I mean, this is an attempt to write what may be called a practical utopia. Nothing is easier, of course, than to enunciate ideals and to say, well, wouldn't it be nice if everybody were good and kind and loving, etc., etc.
One of the novel's most disturbing aspects is the idea that people in the world state are happy, at least on the surface. But this happiness is an illusion, created through conditioning, mindless consumption, and the suppression of real emotions. The citizens of the world state live in a world where pleasure is abundant, but it's a pleasure that lacks meaning. Happiness is never grand. Huxley writes, suggesting that true happiness doesn't come from a life of comfort, but from a life of purpose, challenge, and growth. This dystopia is a warning. If we pursue happiness through materialism, conformity, or external pleasures, we may end up losing sight of what truly makes life worth living. The dangers of totalitarianism. At its heart, Brave New World is a critique of totalitarianism, especially in its more subtle, pervasive forms. In the novel, the world state uses psychological manipulation, genetic engineering, and drugs to maintain control, making it clear that the greatest threat to freedom might not come from an obvious dictatorship, but from a society that promises comfort and stability at the expense of autonomy. Huxley warns that when a society's primary goal is happiness, it may overlook the importance of freedom and individuality. This reflects a broader fear of technological advancement and the potential for these technologies to be used for mass control. Huxley contrasts this with the more overtly oppressive systems, as seen in his earlier work Brave New World's ultimate vision of a state-controlled future. When happiness becomes the primary goal, all other values, such as personal freedom, critical thinking, and individuality, are at risk of being sacrificed. The price of a perfect world. In Brave New World, Aldous Huxley paints a chilling picture of a world where technology, social control, and the quest for happiness have led to the erasure of individuality and freedom. The novel warns us about the dangers of living in a world where everything is controlled in the name of stability and comfort. The world's a prison, but it's a prison we've created for ourselves, Huxley suggests. By giving up our freedom, creativity, and the ability to think for ourselves, we risk losing the very essence of what it means to be human. While Brave New World presents a terrifying vision of the future, it also serves as a call to action, to hold on to our individuality, to challenge authority, and to never lose sight of the importance of freedom, truth, and personal growth. What do you think are the most pressing issues in society today? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more great book insights.